Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Flexing Joe back with another recap, and we're going to be going over Friday, November 15th, and what a day it was. What a huge drop off in the market. I hope you all were able to capitalize on this. Let's jump in and see how we could have traded it and identify some key setups that would have helped you be successful. So let's start by looking at NQ. You see NQ closed the day at 4 p.m., just over 21,000. And then once the session opened, it really just stuck with this trend, right? The bearish EMA trend. And while it tried to flip bullish here, and it did flip bullish here, you can see we just got progressively lower and lower. Now, what you can see from the structure is, in the overnight session, you see how we push up. This failed push up. Where do we push into? Buyers who were stuck, right? Same thing here. Can't pass over these buyers who might have been stuck and these sellers who stepped in and pushed it down, right? So you chop in through here, huge drop. Pulls back, right? The buyers are trying to hold it up here, trying to push into this pivot, but they don't even make it there. And it sells off again. Now we consolidate in through here, push up. Where do we push up into? Stuck buyers, push a little bit higher, stuck buyers, sellers still sitting there, push into VWAP, and we knife back down. So going into the open, what do we see here? We have bearish CBC flip here, pushes down. We have an 8:30 news candle. Now, the 8:30 news candle failed to flip the CBC. When it fails to flip CBC, what I've seen is we continue with the trend that we were on, which was bearish, right? So if we look at the VIX, VIX gaps up from the 1404 close to the pre-market, really consolidates, just goes sideways, lots of flips back and forth, nothing major, but really holding the higher time frame, the 3450 cloud, right? Just bouncing off of it. Now here's your session low. And what I want to show you really quickly is what I do with VIX and how I set my alerts. Going into the open every day, I'll have my alerts set at the pre-market high and the pre-market low. And I want to see, what's going to happen. And ideally what I do is I actually put them a couple ticks below the pre-market high and a couple ticks above the pre-market low. And the reason I have it a little bit above and a little bit below is that I want to be alerted as it's approaching that level, just in case it doesn't break it. And so what you see here is we had the candle by candle flip back short right here, right into the 50 EMA on the 10. We're still holding above the 10-minute 200, and we didn't quite break this pre-market low, which was right there. So we came within really just, what, 1 penny of it, 1 tick. We didn't break it, and then it started to pop back off of it. Now, when we didn't break it, and we found that support there, and we started to push back up, and we got the bearish CBC flip back long, this was a huge indication once the market was already open that we were going to continue to be very long and strong on the VIX. We break the pre-market high and we continue going, right? So looking at ES, same thing. You see in the overnight session, right? Here's where we closed at 4 p.m. Here's where the session actually opened. We've maintained this bearishness. We push down, we pop back up, same area of rejection twice. It barely tries to hold over VWAP there. It fails, it knives down pretty hard, pops back up, sells off some more, and then it consolidates here. It actually pushes up. It actually was able to break over this pivot, but it's something that it can't hold. And it can't sustain price over VWAP again, right? So you get 1 candle, 2 candles push over VWAP, rejection back under, candle by candle flips back short, and then the bears hold the short, right? Pushes up, hold the short, pushes back down. Same thing, the news candle can't flip. When the news candle can't flip, we'll maintain that bearishness. That's exactly what happens into the open. Now, I really like this ES setup here because what you have here is the session low. You can see that off of the session low, it pops back up. But on that pop, they're not able to overtake the first candle of the day. It goes right into the EMAs. So this is, not a candle by candle flip. They're trying, they push in here, and ultimately they fail and knives down pretty hard, right? So this is a really strong confirmation candle that we're going to keep going lower, right? There was no longs to be taken here, and that's eventually what happens, right? It goes lower and lower, and then your first candle by candle flip is right into the EMAs. You can see the next one, right? The next candle by candle doesn't flip, it flips here, but it doesn't close over this close. It doesn't give you any more strength or momentum. You can see here that eventually there were buyers that were trying to push it up. At one point, we can't get over them. We can't sustain price over them. The 10-minute EMAs are rejecting, and further down we go, right? So I just wanted to mark out this flip here. Also, when you had this candle by candle flip here, right? This coincides very well with with VIX flipping its candle by candle short again right into the EMAs, right? And the same thing, this pivot area here is holding on VIX. Draw a straight line right here, Boom. That area holds as well, pushes right off of the EMAs. Same thing here, right? So all three of them flip bullish into the EMA, right? Once they all three have flipped back bearish, right? So bearish flip here, bullish flip here, which is bullish, right? Take the next pullback, would be right here. Take the next pullback for the short, be in here. Let's look at those possible entries. So move that. See this here. So I mean, look at just how fantastic that right over the 2-minute 20. Now, I know it's hard to short really strong candle like that for many traders, and that's totally fine. Here's what you could have done. Okay? Remember, you had this leg right here. This here to here, you made this leg. Boom, you're right in the golden zone. Okay, that's a little bit more confirmation. You're in the golden zone of this little leg, this little micro leg here. It pops down, pulls back, right? So don't get FOMO down here. For your pullback, pulls back, and then knifes hard. Okay. So when you waited for that pullback, even if you felt like you were nervous taking it here, right? And I'm just gonna bring it over a little bit. Really, this one made you concerned. Pushes back under the EMAs and it pops back up right here, right around 02, and a half or so. Just call it 02. Let's say you get in right here. It's still a great trade. Moves down, it pulls back up into that entry. You're fine. It hasn't hit your stop. Depending on what you do or how you trade, you might have taken a scale for 2.5 points. This is fine, right? Back down, and ultimately it trails down all the way to here. You get over a 10-point move. Very good trade, right? Now, let's see. Let's go to NQ. So, this is where your candle by candle flips back short here again at 11:30. That's right here. Okay, following the 11:30 flip. Here, this candle would end at the 11:38 candle, which is right here. This is your next candle. Pushes down, not really giving you a whole lot. Pops back up, right into the 2-minute 9 and 20 EMA. So don't get FOMO down here. We did already break the pivot, so maybe a little bit of a lower probability move, but see nice rejection off the 2-minute EMAs. The market is still very bearish, right? VIX is in a really strong trend away from its orb. So is NQ, so is ES. Lends to a little bit more confluence that we're going to continue lower, right? What's low is still can go lower. Draw the same fib, rejected right off the 50 like it did on ES, and you get a really solid trade here. Even though it seems like down here, we've already moved so far down, and people are probably thinking, well, how much lower can we go? Well, the answer to that question, when you're looking at the 550s, we could go down another 140 something points, okay? So still gave you some really good move. If you waited, you see some rejection, you took it here, or maybe you took it on this little candle, pop back up, right? Let's just say you got in at 38. Could have easily taken this for 50 points, right? So some really fantastic trade opportunities. Just want to back up and just show you guys too, like this was incredible. Like this flip right here was just awesome. The way it just popped up, buyer exhaustion, right? You had a big move. You look at the volume too, you had all this buying, then all of a sudden you had buyer exhaustion, it looks like. Boom, it flips. You get the CBC flip back short on the 2-minute. You've never flipped it on the 10. And then keep in mind, right, like this is where that candle opened, right? The 950 candle opened up here, 950 on the 10-minute, opened up here. So now you opened high, you can't break over the high of this candle right here. Zooming in, right? You don't even get to break that high. And it starts to push back down. When it pushes back down, how much more confirmation are you really looking for to go short? Like everything else is pointing short. This is a short entry, a fantastic short entry right here, in the 20s, right? You get that bill breaker trade Maple talks about, and it just continues down, right? Like I know some of these green candles have a pretty big range. This is 24 points. This is 23.5 points. Again, 28 points. But even if you were just trailing this down, waiting for a solid flip or some really bullish price action, you could have easily gotten it in at 20. Here's 100 points. So fantastic trade setup. So hopefully you guys capitalize on that. I don't want to beat a dead horse here. I was just really bearish price action all day. Like there was no reason to go long, and all of this price action that we were knifing through was pretty thin. If we go to the 30-minute chart, really quickly, what I want to show everybody like is just look to the left, and I'll do it this way, so it's full screen. Look to the left of what we were knifing through, right? This is all of this, right? It's that election night run up, right? We ran through the election night run up and we just pushed the shorts out. Now we're coming back in. The shorts are getting their revenge. Look how far back down it pushes back down all the way to this big igniting candle right here. So same thing on NQ. We'll just go to the 30-minute chart, no EMAs, reduce some noise for everybody. We are. There's the election, the day after the election where we opened. You see we knife through all that. We get down here, and what do? We come right here to the same point. Same big igniting candle right here on the 30-minute chart. So this price action overnight, especially when we make big moves, is usually thin with not a lot of volume, and it's very easy to slice through, and that's exactly what happens. So again, hope this video helped you guys. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Please don't forget to gently hit the like button. Don't smash it and need that for sure. Bye.